טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד.
So we turn now to our candles and Kiddush, and we light the Shabbat candles. What I would love for all of us to do, I forgot to remind you to go and get your Shabbat candles. And so if you have them and want to light Shabbat candles with us, please do that. And I want for all of us to do it together. Even though you are muted, doesn't mean that you can't be speaking with all of us together. So please, at this time, read with me. As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, through our lives, give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations who have kindled lights, so may we be inspired to kindle these lights.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner, shel Shabbat.
Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who makes us holy with mitzvot, and who teaches us to kindle the lights of Shabbat. The heaven and the earth were finished, and all their array. On the seventh day, God finished the work that God had been doing, and God stopped on the seventh day from all the work that God had done. And God blessed the seventh day and declared it holy, because on that day, God ceased from all the work of creation that God had done.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu, zikaron lema'aseh v'reshit, ki hu yom techila lemikraye kodesh, zecher letziat mitzrayim. Ki banu v'acharta ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים, ושבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת. אמן. לחיים.
Our opening reading is from a beautiful liturgist, contemporary liturgist, who just published, I believe, his third or fourth book. And he wrote this poem called Receiving Blessings. Ancient One, open my heart to receive the blessings around me, kindness and wisdom, friendship and understanding, tenderness and compassion, moments of holiness, messages from heaven, source and shelter. Open my heart to bless others with the fullness of my being, with joy and thanksgiving, from a hope for healing and a pulse of love to fill the world with benedictions. Rock and Redeemer, open my heart to welcome the blessings around me, a fountain of grace to fill my soul with gratitude and courage, with wonder and peace. We turn to the Baruch Hu. The Baruch Hu is our call to worship that says we are ready now to speak to God, to speak to the divine presence, and to say we call that presence into our soul, and we call God and God to us, and we call each other into prayer. Please rise as you feel comfortable.
Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach, Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Leolam Vaed. Rabbi, you're muted.
No, it's a lot to think about. As you said,
Welcome back.
thanks. As you said, we can be muted but never silenced.
Yes.
If you would like to read this reading from home so that you can really experience its beauty, please join with me. We are loved by an unending love. We are embraced by arms that find us even when we are hidden from ourselves. We are touched by fingers that soothe us even when we are too proud for soothing. We are counseled by voices that guide us even when we are too embittered to hear. We are loved by an unending love. We are supported by hands that uplift us even in the midst of a fall. We are urged on by eyes that meet us even when we are too weak for meeting. We are loved by an unending love. Embraced, touched, soothed, and counseled. Ours are the arms, the fingers, the voices. Ours are the hands, the eyes, the smiles. We are loved by an unending love.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol meodecha ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi metzavecha hayom al levavecha ve'shinantam levanecha ve'dibarta bam Beshivtecha b'veitecha uvlechtecha b'derech ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך. למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
It is really important this week that we sing Michamocha. Michamocha is our song of redemption, our song of freedom and liberation. And we know that when we crossed the Red Sea as Israelites, and we had that moment where we recognized we are no longer slaves, that we celebrated. We celebrated that freedom by singing how great God was to free us with an outstretched arm and to help us to find that moment of freedom. And today is June 19th. Today is Juneteenth. And it has become much more in our conscience as Americans that June 19th is a day of celebration, a day of commemoration for when the Black community, the African American community, can consider themselves free, but not yet totally liberated. And so as we sing Michamocha, let us think of what it means to be free, what it means to celebrate.
נדר בקודש, מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש. נורא תהילות עושה פלא, נורא תהילות עושה פלא, אדוני
Hashkivenu is one of the oldest prayers that exists today in our repertoire of prayers. It is probably from 800, and it is a prayer of protection, a prayer that asks for God to place a Sukkot Shalom, a shelter of peace over all of us when the sky grows dark or when time doesn't feel safe. I want to share a piece of this interpretation with all of us. Spread over us a sukkah filled with your peace. Correct our shortcomings with good counsel direct from you. Send us forth for your sake, victorious over pain. Shield us. Turn away from us every enemy, plague, instrument of war, hunger, grief, and be with us, O God. Protect us, shield us, help us. We sing Hashkivenu. As we sing, if you are looking for prayers of protection, if you are thinking of those who need prayers of protection, a Sukkot Shalom, please feel free to use the chat and lift up those prayers at this time.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom, leshalom. Vehamidenu malkeinu lechayim. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha, ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha. Shelter us beneath thy wings, O Adonai. Guard us from all harmful things, O Adonai. Keep us safe throughout the night, while we wake with morning's light. Teach us, God, wrong from right. Amen. 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 Amen.
It's hard when we're looking at a computer screen that for many of us is also the same screen that we might use for work or to pay our bills, and we're in the same space that we have spent many months now, to think of it also as sacred space. There's an idea in Judaism that every home is a mikdash ma'at. A mikdash is a sanctuary, and every home is a mikdash ma'at. Every home is a small sanctuary. And so right now we are praying in our homes. Right now, every space, every home is a sanctuary. And so we take that time and we consecrate these spaces and this time as holy. And so as we turn to Vishamru, which is our remembrance that Shabbat is our time that is set aside, that is holy, we recognize that this space, this time, this computer screen is different. It is now Kiddusha. It is now holy. Let's sing Vishamru.
Veshamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Veshamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Beini uvein bnei Yisrael, oti leolam, oti leolam. Veshamru bnei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai, Adonai, et ha-shamayim ve'et ha'aretz. Veshamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Uvayom hashvi'i Shabbat vayinafash, Shabbat vayinafash, Shabbat vayinafash, veshamru bnei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam, veshamru bnei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam.
So we turn to the Amidah, the center of our liturgy, which reminds us that even in the middle of prayer, we need to take a deep breath and re-engage even deeper. And then after we do that, we recall those forefathers and foremothers who came before us. We recall God's greatness and the sanctity of this day. As you feel comfortable, please rise.
Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi yagi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, v'Elohei Leah. Ha'el hagadol hagibor v'hanora, El Elyon, gomel chasadim tovim, v'konei hakol, v'zocher chasdei avot ve'imahot, umevi geula livnei v'neihem, leman shemo be'ahava. Melech Ozer u'Moshia u'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham ve'Ezrat Sarah. Atah gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechaye hakol atah Rav leHoshia. Mechalkel chayim bechesed, Mechaye hakol berachamim rabim, Somech noflim ve'rofeh cholim, Umatir asurim, umekayem emunato, lishenei afar, michamocha ba'al gevurot, umido melach, melech memit umechayeh, umatzmiach Yeshua, v'ne'eman atah lehachayot hakol. Baruch atah Adonai, mechaye hakol. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, ukedoshim b'chol yom yehalelucha selah. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'el hakadosh.
Please be seated. It has become a little bit of a tradition in the last couple of months to think about not only what's hard about everything that's happened since the coronavirus has really changed our world entirely, but also those things that we have been reminded are blessings, things that we have been reminded that we are grateful for. I have had a number of conversations with people where they are able to better express all of those things for which they are grateful in a totally new way, whether tiny or huge. And so as we sing Shalom Rav, I invite you in to lift up in the chat all of the things that you are thinking about from this week or right now that are blessings for you, for which you are grateful. even as we note all of the blessings and the things for which we are grateful, we know that there are those who struggle, those who are sick, whether physically sick or emotionally sick, mentally ill, and those who struggle in so many, many ways. And we lift them up and we pray with our Misha Berach prayer, which calls out to God for healing, but also connects us. And we know the power of prayer and community support for helping those who are struggling. And so as we sing our Misha Berach, once again, we'll turn to the chat because that is our way of lifting up in prayer those who are struggling. And with permission, if you have permission, to type the name of those whom you love in the chat so that we can lift them up and ask for them a measure of comfort, a measure of healing on this Shabbat. We take a moment for silent prayer and reflection.
Adonai, Suri Begali.
I've hinted, well, I haven't hinted, I've told you that this evening I wanted to speak about Juneteenth and its importance. And it's Juneteenth actually became an official holiday in Texas. Some of you may not know that I have some Texas roots, moving here in 2011 from San Antonio, and my husband is a born and bred Texan. So January 1st, 1980, Juneteenth became an official state holiday in Texas. Al Edwards, an African-American state legislator, was able to pass this law. And so it's a big deal in Texas. Everyone knows about Juneteenth. It's celebrated, it's understood. And yet many of us have, until very recently, some maybe this year, had never heard of Juneteenth. And it is really very important. June 19th, 1865, what became Juneteenth, was the day when in Galveston, Texas, Major General Gordon Granger landed in Galveston and told the slaves that the war was over and they were free. If you know anything about American history, this was 2.5 years after President Lincoln's Emancipation Proclamation had become official, January 1st, 1863. And even more so, it wouldn't be until later that year, December 6th, 1865, that slavery would officially end in the United States with the passing of the 13th Amendment. So Juneteenth has come to mark both the end of slavery and the ongoing struggle for civil rights in America. And I want to pause my talking for a moment and share with you a brief video. It's actually a clip. I'm going to fast forward in the middle. It's a clip from the TV show Blackish. If you don't know this TV show, it's a comedy, and it's got a lot of sarcasm in it, and it's a comedy about a Black family that is exploring what all of this means to them. And Dre is a main character. So I want to share with you a fairly brief clip from Blackish. I hope. You never know if the tech is going to work. Can you nod if you can see that? Great.
Rabbi, there's no sound. There's no sound coming through. You might have to enable the computer sound.
Try unmuting.
Oh yeah, if you're muted, we're not going to hear it.
Oh, I have to unmute to hear it?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that. I'll start it over. Thanks, Deb. I didn't know that.
Oh, she's.
There, I started it over. I'm unmute. Wait a minute, I am unmuted.
I'm still not hearing it.
Yeah, I'm
I
not.
don't think you can actually share sound from video clips over Zoom.
Yeah, you have to check that box that says
I
share
did
the
before I
sound.
started it. Let me do it again. Let me do it again. Oh, it unclicked.
And it's on.
Is the charm.
Dre, Aloe Black has convinced us slavery was a bad thing.
So thank you for that, Aloe. I'm just saying, Dre, that maybe it's healthier for you to put all this negativity behind you. Your people, well, they have been free for a long time.
Long time.
Really? Yeah. You think we're free? Your tone makes me feel this is a trick question.
Things just didn't get better on June 20th. Even when we were free, we weren't free. What happens now? We're free, dummy! Okay, but what does that mean? Wait. Pops.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
What do you think it means, dummy? We're free. We're free to do whatever we want.
Can I ride a horse?
Oh, absolutely, baby.
Can I have my strawberry soda?
Yeah, but you're gonna have to get in line behind me.
Can I be president?
That's your son.
Okay, I got it, Pops. Listen to this, son. Being free means we're finally gonna be equal to the white man.
I'm going to fast forward now.
Wow. I had no idea, Trey. Hey, I want to be on board with Juneteenth. I really do, but you have to admit it's a confusing thing to celebrate me. Do I get you a card? Do you get me a card?
I don't know, Dre. It seems like a straight up conflict with Father's Day.
In our community? Okay.
And June is the beginning of wedding season.
In our community. Okay.
I'm only hearing excuses. This is what America always does. We think if we don't acknowledge something awful, it didn't happen. Sure, Columbus's men cut the hands off of people and made them wear them around their neck. But no, let's not talk about that because that happened so long ago. Wow.
Thank you for your patience. I thought that I had clicked that, and I learn all the time. Blackish is a show that I highly recommend to explore the issues and to do it in a way that allows you to have conversations. And I would recommend you go and watch that entire episode about Juneteenth. What that episode highlights is that there is no official commemoration of the emancipation of some 4 million enslaved people, almost 90% of the Black population of the United States in the 1860 census. And that tells me, and so many, you can see that even in the show, and we're not yet ready to deal directly with this enduring legacy.
You want out again?
You could mute, that would be great. So as Americans, we have an obligation to serve our country, to help raise it up to its highest ideals. As Jews, we understand to some extent, just enough to feel compassion, the narrative of ongoing liberation and freedom. We have a common theme of Passover. The liberation is not something that happened, freedom is not something that happened once to us. It is something that we recreate and do over and over and over again. Juneteenth, as I mentioned, reminds me of the Michamocha. Freedom and liberation are different. For the Black community, it has not happened in a moment, or a year, or a decade, or a century. Celebrating Juneteenth begins to recognize that we have so much work to do, and that we are not blind to the past. We know that that we are not blind to the past, and that we are ready to see the past. Throughout the civil rights period, a song we heard over and over again, and to this day, is the song "We Shall Overcome." Imagine my surprise as I was studying this week's Torah portion that those exact words are in this week's Torah portion. We must live that refrain. Let me explain how it's found in this week's Torah portion. In this week's Torah portion, 12 spies go out to check the land at Moses' bidding. 10 come back, and they all 12 come back, sorry. 10 of them come back, and they give a really negative report. They describe ginormous fruit, so big it has to be carried by multiple people, and giants living in the land. And the Israelites are so scared by this report that they describe themselves as feeling like grasshoppers, so small that they are bugs. They're terrified and angry, and they say, we want to go back to Egypt. We don't want this freedom, this experience of the unknown anymore. But two of the spies, Joshua and Caleb, they see it differently. And Caleb says, it's worth it. And he says, we can surely overcome. And the lesson that Caleb is teaching is tremendously important. Trying to see things differently than how we may have perceived them, than even how they might appear, is hard. Change is terrifying. And hearing history anew, like that scene in Blackish, feels like a seismic shift. But Caleb's refrain, we can surely overcome, is the refrain of hope and possibility of a United States reshaped and reconfigured with justice and equity. Juneteenth is important because it celebrates freedom, the beginning and potential of liberation. Commemorating Juneteenth no longer buries painful past and trauma, but begins to reckon with it. And so, with Caleb, we say, we can surely overcome.
It's easy to say I will one day, hard to make it happen that way. It's easy to say it's you, not me, hard to take responsibility. It's easy to say I'll forgive and forget, hard to let go of my regret. It's easy to say I heard what you said, hard to quiet my troubled head. במקום שאין אנשים השתדל להיות איש, במקום שאין אנשים השתדל להיות איש. It's easy to say I'm here for you, hard to know which words are true. It's easy to say I won't give up, hard to handle days that don't live up. It's easy to say it's gonna be okay, hard to find a place on these waves. It's easy to say I'm not afraid, hard to admit all the mistakes I made. במקום שאין אנשים השתדל להיות איש, במקום שאין אנשים השתדל להיות This is the place where I belong. This is the place I lose to win. This is the place I find myself. I am that place במקום שאין אנשים השתדל להיות איש במקום שאין אנשים השתדל So just while you're finding your slide, just I should have explained at the beginning that the b'makom she'ein anashim hishtadel lihiot ish means in a place where there are no human beings, you must strive to be human.
Mm-hmm. And it's a text about always trying to be your best self, no matter what is dragging you down. It's a beautiful, beautiful text. Thank you, Deb. It's a beautiful song. So we are turning now to the Aleinu. The Aleinu is a text, a song, we call it a song, but it's really a prayer about connecting with God, about being the partners that we are meant to be in perfecting the world. Please rise. Let us adore the ever-living God and render praise unto you, who spreads out the heavens and established the earth, whose glory is revealed in the heavens above, and whose greatness is manifest throughout the world. You are our God, there is none else.
ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
We turn to our memorial meditation. When I die, give what's left of me away to children and old men that wait to die. And if you need to cry, cry for your brother walking the street beside you. And when you need me, put your arms around anyone and give them what you need to give me. I want to leave you something better than words or sounds. Look for me in the people I've known or loved. If you cannot give me away, at least let me live in your eyes and not your mind. You can love me best by letting hands touch hands and by letting go of children that need to be free. Love doesn't die, people do. So when all that's left of me is love, give me away. On this Shabbat, we remember those who have been taken most recently in our temple family. We remember in Shiva in the first week since their death, Gilda, Gordon, and we remember in Shloshim in the first month since their death, Margaret, Peggy, Behrens, Morty, Matt. And we mark the yartzites, the anniversaries of death that fall on this Shabbat. Alex Arnoff, Janice Bruder, Ruth Wiener Einstein, Dr. Harold M. Eisenberg, Sarah Fisher, Natalie Foreman, Charles Fox, Robert Hayes Grease, Cheryl Friedman Grossman, Asher Zelig Grossman, Max L. Haas, Richard Catcher, Frank H. Clan, Helen Klein, David Klein, Samuel L. Kossoff, Ruth Schlang Levine, Jerome J. Marks, Michael L. Miller, Gertrude Gottfried Milner, Lambert G. Oppenheim, Herda Oppenheimer, Sanford Samet, Harry E. Siegel, Florence C. Stoddard, Sally Weinstock. Our griefs and sympathies are mingled, and together we share in the mourner's Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, v'alma divrach hirutei v'amlich malchutei, v'chayechon uv'yomechon, uv'chaye techol beit Yisrael, v'agala uv'izman kariv v'imru, Amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mivorach leolam almei almaya, Yitbarach v'yitztabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yithaleh v'yithalal shemei dekudesha harichu, le'elam min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbachata v'nechamata, da'amiran v'alma v'imru, Amen. Yehei shlama Rabbah min Shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru, Amen. Oseh shalom b'romav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru, Amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn and give comfort to all who are bereaved. And let us say together, Amen. Deb, what's our closing song?
Our closing song, we haven't done this one in a long time, so I thought we'd do Adon Olam because we haven't done that in a while.
Fantastic.
So yeah, and this one is a call and response, at least for the main chorus of it. So I hope everybody joins in. Adon Olam, Asher Malach, Temple-Kol, Yitzir Nivra, Leit Nasa, Temple-Kol, Azai Melech Shemo Nikra, Adon Olam, Ve'acharei Kichlot Hakol, Leva'ado Yimloch Nora, Adon Olam, Ve'hu Haya, Tifara, Adon Olam, Asher Malach, Temple-Kol, Yitzir Nivra, Leit Nasa, Temple-Kol, Azai Melech Shemo Nikra, Adon Olam, Vehu Echad, Ve'ein Sheni, Lahamshilo, Lahachbira, Adon Olam, Beli Reshit, Beli Tachlit, Belo Haos V'Hamisra, Adon Olam, Asher Malach, Temple-Kol, Yitzir Nivra, Leit Nasa, Temple-Kol, Azai Melech Shemo Nikra, Adon Olam, Vehu Eli, V'chai Goali, Betzor Chavli Be'etzara, Adon Olam, Vehu Nisi, Umanosli, Menat Kosi Beyom Ekra, Adon Olam, Asher Malach, Temple-Kol, Yitzir Nivra, Leit Nasa, Temple-Kol, Azai Melech Shemo Nikra, Adon Olam, Be'ya'ado, Avkid Ruchi, Be'etishan Ve'ayira, Adon Olam, V'nrim Ruchi, Keviyati, Adonai li Velo Ira, Adon Olam, Asher Malach, Temple-Kol, Yitzir Nivra, Leit Nasa, nasa בחפצו כל אזי מלך שמו נקרא אדון עולם.
I think that was a hit, Deb.
I'm watching all the dancing. You guys, the energy, you have no idea how much energy it gives me to see all the swaying and the dancing. It's awesome. Thank you. Yevarechecha Adonai ve'yishmerecha.
May God bless you and keep you.
Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka.
May the light of God's presence shine upon you and be gracious to you.
Yisa Adonai panav elecha. Yasem lecha shalom, veyasem lecha shalom.
May God lift up each one of us, and may God grant us peace and wholeness. Amen. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
We'll share in a motzi if you have challah nearby.
Is that another Charlie challah?
Every week we get flowers. I don't think you can see them anymore.
Oh, that's awesome. All right, let's do a
Every week
motzi.
there's bima flowers, right? Pseudo.
Yeah,
And
of
there's
course.
challah.
All right.
Maybe a Charlie. Are you going to come join us, honey? Nope, no Charlie.
Are you ready for a motzi?
I am.
All right. Hamotzi lechem min haaretz. We give thanks to God for bread. Our voices rise in song together as our prayer is humbly said. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. B'tei avon.